Right, investing money. So there's these things called annuities, which is simply this: a compound interest investment from which payments are made or received on a regular basis for a fixed period of time. Two types. There's what we call an ordinary annuity, and that's where you deposit the same amount at the end of the compounding period. And so that's like a loan, because you pay back at the end of the period, not the start of the period. And then annuity due is when you deposit at the beginning of the compounding period, and that's your investment. Future value, the total value of the investment at the end of the term of the investment. That's the future value of it. Whereas the present value is, if I wanted that same amount, how much could I just put in now and then not make any further payments? If I did it all in one hit, how much would I have to put in? That's what we call the present value. And the thing about annuities, don't be confused. There is a financial product called an annuity. And it is a type of annuity, but it's not the only type of annuity. There's these two different types of annuities. So let's look at the annuity due. There's any superannuation funds, things like that. Question on a superannuation fund. Again, it's a very simplified model. Superannuation funds don't behave like this. It's not a consistent rate of interest because they put the money in all sorts of different investments, and over time, shares go up and down and what have you. So it's a very simple model where we're saying we're just going to get this consistent 8.75% per annum compounded annually, and Stephanie's going to invest $5,000 at the start of each year, and commencing 1st of January 2003. So what will the value of the superannuation be when she retires on the 31st of December 2023? So that very first investment that she makes will be in there for 21 years. Applying the compound interest formula to that, then we just get 5,000 times 1.0875 to the power of 21. But then the next year she's going to invest another $5,000, but that'll only be in there for 20 years. And then the next year, but that'll only be in there for 19 years, and so on and so on and so on, till she gets to the last investment, which will just be in there for 1 year. So the total amount of that superannuation will be all of those added together. It's a geometric series. The first term is, well, I've gone to the right hand side to be the first term with the lowest power. So 5,000, 1.0875, the common ratio, 1.0875, number of terms, 21. And so all of that is basically some 21 terms, we're saying. So substituting into our formula that we know, we can work out the value of the investment. The reason this has got an asterisk on it is this wasn't actually part of the HSC question. I've just expanded on it to show other ideas. Say we want to find the year when that fund first exceeded $200,000. So now I don't know how long it's in for, but what I do know is that the last investment will be in there for 1 year, the second last one will be in there for 2 years, and so on and so on. I want to find out the number of years this investment's been going for. So I want to find N. So basically it's sum to N. When is it going to be greater than 200,000? There's the inequality we have to solve. Rearranging all that, bit of logs, and eventually, there we go, N's going to be greater than that wonderful expression. So greater than 17.1, in other words 18. Okay, so 2021 would be the first time it exceeds that amount. All right, say she actually wanted $1 million. How much would she have to put in each year to get that? So now the difference is we've got the same series again, but we don't know what P is. We don't know the principal. That's what we're trying to find this time. Again, we're saying, well, when is the sum equal to $1 million? There's our formula. We just rearrange that, and we've got how much to put in each year. Wanted $1 million? Yeah, you've got a lazy $23,000 lying around? Not a problem. Put it in at the beginning of each year and you'll get $1 million. So what is the future value of this annuity due? So the future value then is all of those terms added together. That's all it really is, the sum to N terms. So that would be a formula for it. P is the principal, 1 plus the interest rate, N's the time periods, and so on. But you usually find with these questions that they don't want you to just substrate it in the formula, they want you to build it and like show it as a geometric series. Now back to Stephanie. If she could afford it, how much money could she have saved by just making one investment and still have the same future value in 21 years' time. So now what we're saying is, okay, the present value, the amount I would have to put in right at the start to get that same amount. We've worked out what the amount was. We know how many years we have to find the present value. Yeah, well, we just divide, and if she had put in $54,460.64 at the start, she would have got the same amount. How much money would she have saved by doing it that way? Well, what did she actually do? For 21 years, she was putting in $5,000, which is $105,000 she'll end up investing. So actually, if she could have scraped together $50,000, she could have saved herself $50,000 by doing it that way. And then the present value of the annuity due. So the present value, basically that's what we just said. How much would I have to invest now if I did it in one lump sum to get that same future value? So that would be a formula working out the present value. Principal and debt, so they're all the standard things. And sometimes they'll give you an annuity table and you just read from the table. Saves a lot of calculations. So these ones are all based on just $1. So if you invested $1, what would happen? So we've got two people here, Tim and Janine, and they're offered 6% per annum for 4 years. Now Tim decides to invest $1,500, but he's going to get it compounded quarterly, whereas Janine's going to put in every month and compound it monthly. If you're thinking about it, they're putting the same amount of money in, because $1,500 a quarter would be the same as $500 every month, but who's going to get the greater amount? Okay, so Tim, 6% per annum. But we've got to go back to our table here. His is now 1.5% per quarter. So I want that one there. The 1.5% column, 16 quarters. So for every dollar, $17.9324 is what we're going to get. Whereas Janine, 6% per annum, that would be the same as 0.5%, but monthly would be 48 months. And so we would get, what's that, $27,048.90. Got to work out the interest. That was the final amount. The question was, who got the greater amount of interest? So we've got to work out the interest. Tim's interest, he made 16 $1,500 payments. Janine's interest, 48 $500 payments. The difference was only $150 difference. Okay.